corporate policy. Two words rather innocuous by themselves. Put them together and it could send the meek running to the hills. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and welcome guests. We've all experienced corporate policy at one time or another. It's there to protect us. Many times it does a good job, really transparently. Sometimes, however, not so much. What follows is my true experience recently with corporate policy. I'm a single dad, father of two, ages 8 and 15. Last year, my dentist recommended that our 15-year-old son have braces. As good parents do, my ex-wife and I researched the bejesus out of orthodontists in our area, finally landing upon one that was top-notch. The only wrinkle in finding this orthodontist, she was out of network. No worries, I thought. I've dealt with this before. I simply write a check, and then my insurance company reimburses me. The first orthodontist appointment happened October 5th, 2011. It went without a hitch. At the end of the session, I wrote a check directly to the orthodontist for $400. Done and done. 30 days later, no reimbursement check. 60 days, still no check. Curious as to why, I called my insurance provider. At the other end of the line, I got a nice young gentleman named Ortega. I explained to Ortega the entire situation. And while I was on hold, he researched it for me. What follows now is my conversation with Ortega. Mr. Keller, I've researched your issue and I don't find what the problem is. We sent you a check 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago? I never received it. Where did you send it? Well, to your address on file, sir, in Lake Orion. Lake Orion? That's where my ex-wife lives. Why would you send it there? Well, sir, apparently your ex-wife wrote in about 2 years ago and requested that all documentation related to the kids, including reimbursement checks, go to her. Oh, how frustrating. I felt my temperature dip up just a notch, but I kept my happy facade. Well, Ortega, that's a little frustrating, but while I have you on the phone, let's just go ahead and make that address change now so future reimbursement checks come to me. Well, sir, that's not possible, Ortega said. You see, because she was the one that wrote in originally to request the address change, she's going to have to be the one that writes in now to request the change again. That's our policy. Ortega, that's silly. Why are you sending my reimbursement checks to her? She could be cashing them for all I know, and I'd never be none the wiser. Oh, no, sir. No worries there. You see, we've sent the check out in the name of your son. Well. Ka-chink, ka-chink. Just a few more notches. My son, the 15-year-old that doesn't have a bank account? Why in the world would you send a reimbursement check out to my son? Well, sir, when children that we are insuring turn 13, it's our policy that we send the checks directly to them. So let me get this straight. In order to reimburse me, you're going to send a check to my ex-wife in my son's name. In what universe, Ortega, does this make sense? Sir, I'm really sorry. That's our policy. Ortega, I don't think we're communicating here, and I'd like to maybe bring this together with an analogy. Sure, sir. Go ahead. If anything, he was polite. Let's say that you go into work tomorrow morning. You sit down at your desk, you fire up your computer. At the top of your inbox is a new email from your HR department. And it says that there's a new policy in place, beginning today and every day thereafter. When you arrive at work, you're to stop at the pop machine and you are to purchase a 20-ounce bottle of soda. Diet or regular, it's your choice. You're then to walk over to your desk, shake the bottle vigorously, hold it up high, and dump the contents all over your computer, your desk, and your chair. Now, Ortega, we haven't been talking very long, but I'm betting that you would be the first to raise your hand and say, that's a silly policy. There was a pause. Well, yes, sir, I believe I would do that. And Ortega, I know you can't see me through the phone, but I'm raising my hand up high. Your corporate reimbursement policy makes no sense. In the nicest way possible. And that's what started a 45-minute dialogue between myself, Ortega, his manager, and his manager's manager. And at the end of that 45-minute dialogue, I'm happy to report no change. I was not able to affect any change in policy, nor was I able to affect where they sent the reimbursement check to or who it was made out to. However, I did learn something rather important. And maybe we'll call it the moral of the story. Corporate policy is here to protect us. In many cases, it does that just fine. Every so often, when you run across corporate policy that maybe has run amok a little, don't get frustrated. Don't get steamed under the collar. If you feel your blood pressure boiling as you're dealing with the corporate policy issues, simply do what I do now. Walk over to your refrigerator, grab your favorite beverage, shake it vigorously, hold it up high, and cool off with a refreshing shower.